Hi, welcome to Samurai Tavern. In this video, we are going to talk about Hamon, which is the secret behind a great sword. I believe most of you have seen a katana, Japanese sword, at least one time in animes or movies. How did it look like? Was it the one like this? There is distinct pattern on the blade. But have you ever seen the real one, which looks like this? There is similar pattern on the actual sword. This is called Hamon, but do you know what this is? Before explaining Hamon, we have to know a little about katana. During the Edo period, that is around 17th to 19th centuries, samurai always had to carry katana in a daily life. A katana was not merely a weapon, but a friend or a god for samurai. Therefore, a swordsmith had to put uncountable effort in making katana, which has three important characteristics. A katana must not break or bend, and most importantly, it must be sharp. A katana is made so that it is easy to carry or use. A typical katana is weighed about 800 grams and measured about 70 centimeters in length. You can imagine a baseball bat, which is similar weight and size. To fulfill all these requirements in the limited size and weight, uncountable effort was made to create a great sword. A katana can be separated into two parts, yaiba, the blade, and shinogiji, the body. Sharpness of katana is determined by yaiba, so yaiba is made of very hard material. On the other hand, shinogiji, the body, is used to defend the attack from enemy during the sword fighting. Thus, shinogiji is softer and ductile, so that it will not break or bend. Oh, wait a second, hard blade and soft body, aren't they the same material? The answer is no. Hamon appears as the border of these materials. But how can they be different materials? What are they? A katana is made from tamahagane, a type of steel purified from iron sand by the traditional iron producing method called tatara seitetsu. Tamahagane is made up of 98.5% iron and 1.5% carbon and other impurities, such as silicon, manganese, phosphorus, copper, and titanium. Actually, tamahagane is a very interesting material. We will make another video about that. Anyway, iron is very interesting. Its properties and texture changes depending on the carbon contents. Swordsmiths utilize such properties in making katana. Let me explain about it. An iron is named differently depends on its carbon contents. Juntetsu, also called pure iron, contains less than 0.02% carbon, while tsukutetsu contains more than 2.2%. In between these two, there is kotetsu, the steel. In general, an iron becomes harder with increasing carbon content. Here is how iron atoms are arranged. In the pure iron, Fe shows iron atoms. In the pure iron, the iron atoms can be easily slide when force is applied. The presence of carbon atoms in the gap between iron atoms could interfere with the movement of iron atoms when force is applied. This is why tsukutetsu is so hard. However, it isn't a good thing to be too hard. Tsukutetsu easily got broken when much forces are applied. Let's take your smartphone glass as an example. It is very hard and strong, however, it will scatter into fragments once it is dropped onto the floor. Pure iron is soft but ductile. Thus, it doesn't break easily. While pig iron, tsukutetsu, is hard but fragile. Therefore, the steel is the best material for making a katana, as it will not be too soft or too hard. Getting the steel with the right carbon content is the key to produce a great katana. An experienced swordsmith can tell the hardness and ductility of a steel from how they look or the thickness when a steel is hammered. Some of you may thought that a katana's hamon is made by arranging different kind of steels like this, but this is not right. The starting material of katana is fused steel block, which is made by combining steels with different hardness. A swordsmith then uses a hammer to shape the steel block into a katana. This is one of the most common style to fuse two steels into an iron block. The softer inner iron can act as a cushion to absorb the big impact during the battle. Meanwhile, the outer iron is harder than the inner iron. This layered structure can make a katana strong and unbreakable. We could see there was a lot of effort committed by an Asian swordsmith in order to produce a great katana. Now, you may understand that a katana is shaped from the fused steel block, which has the same material in the outer layer. But how did the hamon form? This is the basic flow of making katana. After the shaping process, a sword is first covered by a layer of clay. Secondly, the sword is heated up evenly. Then, sword is cooled down in the water. Hamon appears after this process. This is called Yakiire. What happened to the sword during Yakiire? To understand this process, let's see what happened at the atomic level. This is the simplified atomic structure of the steel when it is heated up. The 3D structure looks like this. When the steel is warmed up, the space between iron atoms are large enough to keep carbon atoms. So the carbon and the iron atoms are arranged like this. In this state, an iron is called austenite. From this state, the steel is cooled down in the water. During this cooling process, another transformation occurs. In brief, there is 3 types of transformation. Depends on how the steel is cooled down. If the steel is cooled down slowly, the arrangement of iron changes into ferrite, which looks like this. In this transformation process, the gaps between iron atoms got shrunk, and the carbon are released from the iron crystal. The released carbon is caught by other iron atoms and formed another structure called cementite. This transformation of the steel happens when iron atoms have enough time to turn into stable structure. To achieve this, a steel at high temperature needs to be cooled down gradually. On the other hand, if the iron is cooled down immediately, the carbon atoms doesn't have enough time to escape from the iron crystals. But the iron still needs to change into ferrite structure. So what happened here is it distorted the crystal structure like this. The carbon kept inside the crystal. This structure is called martensite. Now let me explain the characteristic of each crystal structures in the steel. Here is a heated up steel, and several carbon atoms are trapped in between. Once the steel is cooled down gradually, some part will be turned into ferrite by releasing the carbon atoms. The released carbon atom is caught by the other iron atoms and becomes cementite. As I explained before, lower carbon content produces a softer iron, so ferrite is very soft and ductile, while cementite is very hard and fragile. When the layers of ferrite and cementite combines, it produces pearlite, a structure that has both ductility and hardness. I know that you guys want to know about how hard are these materials. The hardness of materials can be determined by Vickers hardness test, whereby A material is scratched by a diamond, and the hardness is indicated by the unit of HV. Generally, the hardness of ferrite is around 100 HV, while cementite is around 1200 HV. Pearlite is about 200 HV. Then what happens if the heated steel cools down immediately? Carbon atoms don't have enough time to move, so they stay at the same place during the conformational change of an iron crystal. In this situation, the iron atoms couldn't align correctly. The crystal structure is distorted. The iron atoms in the martensite crystal doesn't slide easily, so it becomes very hard at around 800 HV. Now we know that a crystal structure of iron changes according to the cooling speed. How does swordsmith control the speed? During the Yakiire process, the sword is covered by the clay. This is one of the most important parts during Yakiire. Thick part is difficult to cool down, and thin part is easy to cool down. The part that is cooled down immediately forms martensite. Meanwhile, the part which cools down slowly forms ferrite and pearlite. This is the photo of a real sword. Here is martensite. Here is pearlite and ferrite. The Hamon is made of pearlite, ferrite, and martensite. The blade is so hard, while body is ductile. The Hamon transmits the impact from the blade to the body, so I think that the pattern of Hamon is closely related to the strength of katana. You might see somebody cutting through iron wires or pipes with a katana. It is impressive, but actually katana can easily cut through normal iron materials without any chipping. Thanks for watching our video.
Edo's Fun Facts. Today's topic is about sushi. Sushi is one of the most famous Japanese dishes, and this is probably the sushi that we see every day now. Back in the days when refrigerator wasn't available, fishes were preserved by keeping them in cooked rice with salt. This process will take about 1 month. That's amazing, right? Sushi made via this process is called nare-zushi. Later, the production of vinegar has led to the transition of nare-zushi to haya-zushi in the early Edo period. To make a haya-zushi, rice is mixed with vinegar and topped with fresh seafood. Haya-zushi is kept for only a few days before serve. This is an example of haya-zushi, the oshi-zushi of Saba, which is famous in the Hokkuriku region. You mustn't miss out this one as well when you travel to Japan. During the late Edo period, nigiri sushi became one of the signature fast food on the street. Until now, nigiri sushi is still one of the popular Japanese dishes. They look so yummy, right?